If you've ever found yourself lying awake Sunday night with the Sunday night scaries and you're replaying that conversation with your manager from Friday and you're second guessing yourself, you have this feeling of dread facing them again on Monday. And you're thinking to yourself, what am I doing wrong? What am I going to walk into this week? Then this video is for you. Let's start with something really simple, like the weather. We all know that we can't control the weather. If it snows outside, we wear a jacket, we get some gloves, we get some boots. If it's raining outside, we grab an umbrella. The thing is, we don't argue with the weather. We just grab ourselves something to protect ourselves from it. But at work, especially in high pressure environments, instead of protecting ourselves from maybe a toxic manager situation, we actually try to fix it. And then of course, if things go wrong, we blame ourselves. That's where the trap is. It's like blaming yourself for getting wet in a storm when you've just left your jacket behind. Hey, so my name is Mel. I've got over 3 decades worth of experience in human resources and specifically in employment relations here in New Zealand. I've seen firsthand how toxic management can break down even the most capable, conscientious employee. On this channel, I help conscientious employees like you spot the difference between helpful influence or coercive control. And I do that so that you can get control over your own career and your future and your well-being. So what is the difference between healthy management and toxic management? Well, some managers are just like sunshine, right? They are supportive, they are helpful, they direct, they are clear. But other ones, not so much. They are like the storms. They are controlling, they are unpredictable. Sometimes they can be even dangerous. A bit like the weather, we can't really control them either. You can protect yourself. And that is the type of content that I'm going to be focusing on in my videos. Let's talk about the control cycle. It often starts like this. So you begin a new job and you're on great footing because you're a capable, conscientious employee and you get stuff done, you work really hard, and on top of that you really care. And at first you are really praised for this. But then something shifts and you can't quite put your finger on what's changed. Maybe you're left out of a key conversation. Maybe you are relegated to doing some dead-end project. So maybe one day you're praised for your work and the next day you are undermined for the same thing. And eventually you might start feeling like you're a button, like you're just sitting around waiting to be pushed so that you can perform for your manager. And then of course when you're not pushed, you are ignored, like you don't add any value. And of course when that happens, you find yourself trying to go back to the situation the way it was before, at the beginning. The more you try, the more confused you become. And that is how the trap is set. That is exactly how the control cycle sets in. So there's a misconception about toxic managers. Toxic managers are not always loud or angry. They can be charming. They can smile at you, and they might even praise you on Monday and then criticize you on Tuesday. They use confusion and inconsistency like tools. And because you are a conscientious and cooperative employee, you don't even see this coming. Listen, if any of this sounds familiar, let me be clear. You are not weak. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not the problem, but you certainly have one. You are one of those people who stay late and get stuff done. You are helpful. You help other people do their things when you set aside your own. You believe in teamwork. The thing is, you're just thoughtful and reliable and honest. I'm sorry to say, but those are the things and the characteristics that could be making you a target. I do not want to blame you for anything that is happening to you. But it is a problem that you have, and we are here to try and solve that problem. If you find yourself in this kind of situation, it's likely that you've started a new job, maybe there's been a change or a restructure at your organization, maybe there's been a change in management or a change in, like, the business has been sold. Basically, you're in an environment where there is a lot of uncertainty and very few rules. Toxic managers love this type of environment. They just thrive. Under those circumstances, you're going to overwork, you're going to overperform, and you're going to do everything you possibly can to get stuff done. So how do you know if this is happening to you? You can ask yourself, am I constantly confused about what is expected of me? Do I feel guilty even when I've done nothing wrong? Am I anxious most days, especially before work? Do I feel resentful? Like, am I asking myself, why am I the only one doing work around here? If all of this sounds familiar to you, then it might be time for you to admit what's going on. You are not the problem, but you have a problem. And the problem is that you are unprotected. It's really important to understand that any relationship, and I mean any relationship, including that with your manager, is a two-way street. It means that it is not your fault if things are going pear-shaped. But it is your responsibility to make sure that you protect yourself. And you don't want to be doing this through conflict or through confrontation, which doesn't come naturally to you anyway. You want to do this through awareness. So remember earlier when I was talking about that snowstorm? Now imagine somebody standing out there in a snowstorm and they have no jacket, no gloves, no beanie, and they are blaming themselves for the cold. Does this make sense? Of course it doesn't. But unfortunately that is what a lot of us do at work. We end up blaming ourselves for the storm instead of protecting ourselves from it. We try to control it or we try to predict it, and here is where the shift needs to happen. So it isn't, how do I change them in the situation, but rather, how do I protect myself? And what this might look like are things like, I need to check first before I instantly agree to taking on a task. Is this really part of my job to be doing this? You could even learn to say things like no or not yet without guilt. This isn't defensiveness, this is protection. Defensiveness is like a reaction, right? You're defending yourself, where protection is proactive. It's a mindset shift. It's like a system shift. It's a way of thinking about things that puts you back in charge. And I want for you to know this. Through doing this, there is no expectation that you need to change yourself. You are already an excellent, hard-working employee. Under no circumstances am I asking you not to be who you already are. But what I am asking you to do is to protect your conscientiousness from being exploited. And what I call this is counter-control. This is not a rebellion. This is not revenge. But it is you reclaiming your own autonomy. The idea is to stop rewarding bad behavior from your manager with overworking or overperforming. And all the while, you're going to stay that professional, conscientious, compassionate person that you already are. The only difference is you're going to be protected. Here is the truth that most managers will not tell you. Your output, your work, props up their success. So your reliability becomes their advantage. It can also become your leverage. Not so that you can fight back to them, but so that you can protect your time and your effort and your mind and your well-being. That is the heart of what I will be talking about on this channel. This is video 1. We are not here to fight with the storm. We are here to create protection for ourselves from it. There's no need to change them because they won't anyway. If you're unsure of whether this is happening to you, if you find yourself walking on eggshells at work or you find yourself second guessing yourself, I have created a tool like an assessment, and I call it the coached or controlled audit. It's free and it's private, and I've linked it in the description for you. It'll help you get clear on whether you're in a healthy management relationship or if you are caught in one of coercive control with a toxic manager. So download that audit, get your baseline, and I will see you in the next video where we talk about how to break these patterns. Take care. I see you in the next one.